What's going on, guys? It is RNF, Ryan Nintendo Freak, back again with another video. For this week's video, I'm going to be going over all the games that are going to get Switch releases from Gamescon. Now, I never heard of Gamescon before, but the only reason why I heard about this convention is because of one specific game that I'm super hyped for, that I had to do a little bit more research on about. Like, all these games got announced during Gamescon, but it was just this one game that I really wanted to get more information from is what made me hear about this convention. But anyways, let's jump right in and let's talk about all the games that are getting Nintendo Switch releases. So actually, this was only going to be just the two games that I'm incredibly hyped for, but I had to include this one game that that is going to get a Switch release, but it's going to be a very quick my thoughts about it, and that is He-Man. Now, I've never been familiar with He-Man. Like, I never really grew up with it as a kid because it was way before my time, before I was born. But now that I got a little bit older, I'm a little bit familiar with the history of He-Man, and it's going to be a throwback 16-bit beat-em-up game. And by the looks of it and what they kind of like announced during Gamescom, it actually looks really fun. Like I said, I don't really know too much about He-Man because I never really grew up with the cartoons, but I know somewhat about the cartoons. I just never really watched it, but I do really want to watch it. I just know that it's a very classic cartoon, but by the look, like I said, by the looks of the game, it actually looks really fun, and that's a game that I'm actually looking forward to for its release. Okay, so now I just brought up the trailer for the game that really made me want to make this video. Is the new Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. So I was at my personal job and I was on my break and I was just scrolling through YouTube just to see like any kind of videos that I would want to watch during my break, and on my home screen I saw a trailer for the PS5 and it was for Lego Batman. So I clicked on it and watched the trailer, and I was incredibly jealous because I was like, this is getting a PS5 release. So then I had to do a little bit more research. I wanted to find another trailer just to see, because for the PS5 like trailer, it didn't show the very ending where it showed all the other systems that this game was going to get released for, because I wanted to see if this was going to get a Switch release. And I found another trailer that actually had that little add-on that showed you all the other systems that this game is going to be released for. And let me fast forward to the ending of the trailer really quick. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. So yeah, so it is going to get a Nintendo Switch 2 release, and it's coming out for the Xbox Series X, and it's also coming out for the Series S, and then it's also coming out for the PS5, oh, and also for the PC as well. So then once I saw that it was getting a Nintendo Switch release, I was super excited. So then after I watched the trailer, I found an actual Gamescom clip convention, and they actually did have, I have my notes right here. So they had Jonathan Smith, who is the head of development of TT Games, and they had him doing like a little interview about him kind of going over a little bit more details that they didn't show off in the trailer. So the first thing that he actually opens up with is that this is the definitive, essential Batman story. We take you on Bruce Wayne's epic journey from origin to legend. You'll train with the League of Shadows, you'll fight crime on the streets of Gotham, and as the years go by, you'll establish your ultimate legacy as the Dark Knight, which was already a great selling point. And then he goes on by saying they went like they dove into like the iconic moments and deep cuts with, or deep cut references, there we go, of decades of Batman. So they went into like deep cut references. So references from the movies, TV shows, comic books, and games. I'm very excited to see all even more references, because they put a lot of good references from the movies in the trailer, but I'm looking forward to seeing like even more references that they could have in this game. So the first thing that they asked him and he went over was the combat fighting, and he said that the team have created a rich, deep combat system that is authentic to Batman's unique style. And by the looks of it, because they even had like clips to show off the combat in this game, and it just looks so good. And that's another thing though too that was pretty cool, is that they even had clips to show off the combat in this game. So you get to see like different types of like the combat that Batman is going to be fighting in, and it looks incredibly good. Like they have like combat move, like combo moves that look pretty awesome when they were showing off the criminals in Gotham, and they said that you can use a grapple and use the Batarang and stuff. The second thing that they also did mention is that there's going to be other playable characters, so you don't have to play as Batman. So in his interview, he does mention that you can play as Jim Gordon, Catwoman, Robin, Batgirl, and I believe there might have been a few other characters, because I was hearing that there are 7 playable characters, but I can't really think of them right now. But he says that they'll have their own gear. So that's another thing too that I was wondering about, because their own gear, so you don't have to like rely on Batman to kind of like on like maybe certain levels or whatever. So like if you need like Robin for something, like he can like get back, like he can get to like certain places or whatever. Or if you need I'm forgetting my train of thought. But if you need to use Batgirl for something to like get to a location or something. So the third thing that they talked about is this is going to be an open world Lego Gotham. And I loved it how Jonathan Smith describes it. He says Gotham is going to be a Lego playground. You can grapple from rooftop to rooftop and glide over the streets of Gotham. So after he was saying all that, I was already sold. But the final thing that he says about the open world, he says this, or you can cruise around in your choice of a Batmobile. So this is what I want to talk about here, because I love this, because there are so many great looking Batmobiles. Like they all look awesome. And just to see what they're gonna look like in Lego form, that's gonna be even more cool. And because with this trailer, we already do see what at least 2 Batmobiles are gonna look like in Lego form in this game. And that is Robert Pattinson's Batmobile and Christian Bale's. And there's so many Batmobiles. And that's another thing too that I want to point out. There are so many Batmobiles. And it's gonna be hard for me to choose, because you have Michael Keaton's Batmobile. And I'm wondering if they're going to add Val Kilmer's Batmobile and George Clooney's Batmobile, which I think they probably might, but I'm not too sure. Now, this is all live action that I'm listing right now. So you have those 3 Batmobiles. You have Christian Bale's Batmobile, Ben Affleck's Batmobile, and Robert Pattinson's Batmobile. And also Adam West, if you're counting the live actions. So that's 7 Batmobiles. And then with TV shows, you got to throw in the, Kevin Conroy's Batmobile from the animated series. You got to throw that in there. So that's 8. And then you got the comic books, which has Batmobiles. And then you also have the video games. Like I said, it's going to be hard for me to choose only one Batmobile. I'm kind of wondering that since that this is going to be an open world game, what I'm kind of hoping for is that I'm hoping like you're not limited to just one Batmobile, and I'm just kind of hoping that like if you're going to like one level or something, like I'm kind of hoping that you could just go to like the Batcave and all the Batmobiles will be there, and you can use like, say like if you go to one level, you can use Christian Bale's, and then you can go to and then if you're going to another level, you can use Robert Pattinson's Batmobile, or if you go to another level, you can use Kevin Conroy's Batmobile. Like, I'm just kind of hoping that you're not just limited to just one throughout the whole game. I'm just hoping that since like the whole open worldness and in your choice of a Batmobile, I'm just kind of hoping that they're all there and you can just like select one and then you can go back and select another one. Like, I'm just hoping that you're not just selected to just one throughout the entire game. But yeah. So like I said, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight was the biggest reason why I wanted to make this video. And then there was another game that that is getting a Switch 2 release. And I was like, okay, I gotta add this to the video as well because I've been waiting for this game to get a Switch port for a while. And the original Switch wasn't powerful enough. And I think that this game was like one of the games that it wouldn't be able to run on the original Switch. But now with the Switch 2, it's getting a Switch port, and that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now, with this game, they didn't really go over anything about how it's going to run, play, or function or whatever on the Switch 2 when it gets a port. It was mostly just a trailer for the new DLC that they're going to be adding to this game, but by the looks of this trailer for the DLC, like, this DLC looks really damn good. Like, Indiana Jones going on another quest or on another adventure or something. Like, that looks incredible. And then by the very end of the trailer, that was when they had the big reveal, which, by the way, still gives me goosebumps, because it's like him going through this cave and like all these booby traps and he's dodging them. And then this is when they have the big reveal that the game is going to be released for the Nintendo Switch 2, coming in the year of 2026. But that's it, you guys. That is all the games that I wanted to mention or talk about, or all the games that are getting a Switch release that I wanted to talk about. Now, I'm hoping I listed every single game that's getting a Switch release, because during that Gamescon video that I was watching on YouTube, I powered through, fast forward through the entire thing, because going through games, because I was trying to see if there were any games that were going to get a Switch release, and then I can mention or talk about it in this video. And the only games that I found was about the He-Man game, the Lego Batman game, and also Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. And I was only going to do just the Lego Batman and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I figured I might as well add He-Man to this as well, because the game actually does look fun, even though that I don't know too much about He-Man, and I'm a huge fan of Indiana Jones and Batman and Legos. So I just kind of thought that I would throw He-Man in here because the game actually does look really fun. But that's it, you guys. If I missed any games getting released for the Switch, comment down below if I missed any games that are going to get a Switch release. But also comment down below, what do you guys think about the new Lego Batman game, and also Indiana Jones getting a port or getting a Switch release and all that stuff. I would like to hear your guys' thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I was almost going to say comment, but I also did say comment. But don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you guys can be notified every single time I make a video. Catch you guys later.